Reasons you should ride a motorcycle in 2026. So in my opinion, I feel like 2026 is honestly the best year to start riding a motorcycle. For a number of reasons, really. First one I'm going to go into is gas prices. Gas prices in some places are astronomically higher than they ever were years ago, and they keep going up. On average, gasoline cars get less gas mileage per gallon than gasoline bikes, so your miles per gallon are higher, generally speaking, on a motorcycle. Even this 1000cc motorcycle has good, better gas mileage than most gas cars, especially older gas cars. Newer ones have gone a lot better with gas efficiency, but older cars, this has it beat all the way. Gas prices going up and everything getting more expensive, every dollar counts, so if you can save on gas, that makes a difference in itself. Second reason I might get into is cost. Motorcycles can cost honestly more than driving a car, but it can also cost a lot less. So for instance, this bike, I got it for $3,800, and that was about 7,000 miles ago. Most cars in that price range are going to be really old and beat or need a good amount of work. There are also a lot more expensive bikes, like my 500, for instance. I spent about $6,000, almost $7,000 on that one. So it really can differ and really depends. That is a brand new bike. This one is used, so it's partially the difference in price on those is because of that. But if you look through Facebook Marketplace, just take a few minutes here and just look through Facebook Marketplace. You can find a used motorcycle for really cheap. And I would obviously start on something a little bit lower CCs personally, but you can start on whatever you like. I started on 1,000. You can start on 1,000 too if you want, but I would suggest starting on something no more than 500 cc's. Because that's all the bike you really need, honestly, for the road. And if you're getting bored from it, it's mainly because you're not switching it up and you're comparing it to other faster bikes. I have honestly more fun on my 500cc than I do on my 1000 any day of the week. It just depends on how you ride. So yeah, getting into riding a bike can be really cheap. So that's a good reason to get on motorcycles. Of course, you have to buy gear with the bike itself and insurance and stuff, just like a car. But you don't have to drop a crazy amount on gear. It can be a relatively cheap process getting into, even with gear. There's things like Groms 125cc's that go for like $2,000 all day long. There's older motorcycles that go for like less than $1,000 all day long. There's so many options out there that you can start on. Personally, I would start on something a little newer if you're not mechanically inclined. If you're mechanically inclined, get something older because you're going to save a lot more money, but there are things that could be faulty with that older bike, so that's why you got to be mechanically inclined. Another reason why you should get into motorcycling in 2026 is because of all the technology these bikes have nowadays. It's absolutely insane. Like these, like S1000s and all these other bikes, like they got lean angle, like things on the screen that can tell you your lean angle. They got heated grips. They got cruise control a lot. They have ride modes. They have So much adjustability within them now that it's absolutely insane. And so much tech within them now, like wheelie control and all these things that make it a lot easier for the rider and gives the rider a lot more information, you know, versus just the feeling. A lot older bikes, you had to rely a lot more on the feeling and just know what you're doing, you know. These newer bikes, they make it a lot easier with the E-clutches and everything, you know. Nowadays, you don't even need to, like, you can buy automatic bikes, you can buy a bike with the E-clutch, you don't need to be, like, good with riding manuals or anything. Even if you're not good with riding a manual, you can start out on a bike in 2026, so. All these new bikes that I'm talking about with all these crazy features are pretty expensive, so if you got the money to play, definitely something I'd look into. And then my fourth reason, and honestly, in my opinion, this reason is number one, but I'm going off of what I feel like generally people would consider number one, which would have been gas prices to start. But community, in my opinion, is number one. That is my favorite thing about being on a motorcycle, is the community. When you get on a motorcycle, there's all these bike nights, every single time you go past another bike, you interact with them. You don't do that in a car. You're closed off. You don't interact with the other cars except maybe flipping them the bird. That's about it. But when you get on a bike and you see another bike, you give them the two down, you know, signaling that you hope that they arrive to their destination safely, essentially. The community, like, and I've met so many friends, I've hung out with so many cool people, got to have so many fun times just in general because of motorcycling. And I've only been doing this for a year now, but I was never popular, I was never, you know, a social butterfly, so being on the bikes made me feel like I was a part of something bigger and forced me to meet new people and talk to new people and made me feel, you know, special. But having this group that I could just be a part of and they accept me with both arms wide open is just incredible to me. I'm constantly meeting new people and I'm constantly just building these bonds with people that are more like brothers than just friends. These are the same people that will help you if you go down. They'll take your bike and bring it back to your house. They'll help you get to the hospital. They'll help you with even the small things in your life because you guys both ride motorcycles, you know. It's something as simple as that, you know. You become a brotherhood almost in a sense because of the motorcycles. It's just a beautiful thing, really. I really cannot articulate how special the motorcycle community is. And you really can't put it into words. I really feel like it's something that, like, when you become a part of it, it's something you'll know when you feel it type of thing, you know? And then another reason, number 5, for getting into a motorcycle in 2026. This is something that's not really changed, but it's always been kind of a thing, is commuting. Commuting on a motorcycle is way more quicker and can be a lot easier than a car. I commute every single day on my motorcycle. And a lot of states, I think it's like 6 states now that allow lane filtering. That greatly increases your time to get to work. I've cut my commute down in half just by filtering. So that's truly amazing, especially if you're running late for work or whatever. You don't even have to rush it. You just filter on through and you're already getting there way faster than you would have if you were on a car. So that's beautiful in itself, see? Brotherhood. But yeah, commuting and parking in general on a motorcycle is so much easier than in a car. Because on a motorcycle, you're obviously a lot smaller. You can fit in between other cars. You can fit your motorcycle on sidewalks. You can fit it pretty much anywhere. So commuting is way more beneficial on a motorcycle than in a car. And to be honest with you, there's so many more reasons to get into motorcycling that I cannot even put all into one video. I'm gonna add a sixth one just because, and the sixth one is clarity. There's a certain feeling you get when you ride a motorcycle that is not like anything else that you can experience. There's a certain level of like self-awareness and clarity and almost like meditation that comes from riding a motorcycle. Unlike a car, you can't be distracted. You can't be not there. You have to be there at every second. Every single half a second, every millisecond, you have to be there when you're on a motorcycle. You know, and subliminally, you know that you're vulnerable. And then just like all the senses you get from riding, like that you don't get from a car. When you're exposed to the elements and you can just breathe and smell the air and feel the weather and feel the sun, it's way different than anything you can experience in a car because you don't get these sensory feelings from a car that you do from a motorcycle. It's unique to a motorcycle. Like, for instance, when I'm riding a motorcycle, especially in like the city, for instance, I'll go through like so many different smells. Like one moment I'll smell somebody, you know, sparking up, and the next moment I'll smell the exhaust from the car in front of me, and the next moment I'll smell, you know, like Mexican food from a Mexican restaurant that I'm crossing, or I'll smell flowers of flower field that I'm crossing. You know, it's like, and there's also the bad smells that you also get too, which kind of suck, but it's just such a different experience from driving a car, and it's like so surreal and raw that it just, God, I'm having a hard time articulating it. It's just not, you know, I feel like personally that it's really beneficial on the mind and body to ride a motorcycle. There's been studies showing that your reaction time goes up when you ride a motorcycle than if you don't. There's so many like little things. The wind just hitting ya, the smells, the feels, the vibes. I've never felt calmer than when I go on a nice ride because, like I said, when you gotta pay attention, when you are locked in, you gotta pay attention every second. And you can't let your mind just wander and go into zombie mode. It's so therapeutic. I've been significantly less depressed while riding a motorcycle than when I wasn't, just because of those types of things. And it's truly amazing, to be honest with you. When you're in those moments, you can't afford to like think you got to be locked in, and that like it's so good for you, I feel like. Yeah, these are just a couple reasons I personally feel like you should ride a motorcycle in 2026. Like I said, there are so many more reasons to do it. Though honestly, the reasons are limitless. So I really can't even put them all into one video. If I were to do that, this video would be hours long. I mean, just going on about what's good about riding a motorcycle. And there are cons, don't get me wrong, but personally, I feel like the benefits outweigh the cons all day long. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. If I gave you even the slightest bit of information, if this video helped persuade you, if this video gave you anything, please like, comment, subscribe. It really helps the channel. It's the only way that it's going to boost me in the algorithm and get this out to more people to see it. So if this video was beneficial at all, please like, comment, subscribe. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have an amazing day. Take it easy. Lizard out.